Good evening, everyone. This is an Operations Committee meeting of the Guilford Board of Education. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, and today is one of the very first meetings starting us off on the budget for 2026-27. Hard to believe we're already here, but tonight is when we listen to you. This is an Operations Committee meeting. All right, I sound all right. We are here to listen to you tonight. This is a forum for you to speak and to let us know what you find important to input for the budget for the 26-27 year. We would love to have your input. We invite you up to the podium to speak. If you wouldn't mind, there is a pad and a pen behind the podium. If you could please write your name and your address, as well as when you address the podium, if you could please speak your name and your address as well. We're going to limit comments to 4 minutes. Do we have a timekeeper? Awesome. Thank you so much. I do want to take us through a quick timeline of the budget season. Like I said, tonight starts our Operations Committee meeting. On October 27th, the Board of Ed will meet with the district leadership team, where we will hear from them as well in terms of what they would like to see in the upcoming budget. We move through November and December drafting the budget. And on December 15th is when we have a discussion with the Board of Finance to discuss the budget. And then the submitted preliminary budget and proposed bonding goes to the Board of Ed and Board of Finance on January 7th. 2 dates that I want to highlight of importance. The Board of Education public hearing. Those are when we have a dialogue and a discussion with everyone from the public to discuss the budget here on January 26th. And January 27th. From there, the Board of Ed special meeting to approve the budget and proposed bonding is scheduled for February 2nd. And then fast forwarding all the way to the referendum, we have a tentative timeline of April 7th. That is a Tuesday. So with that, we invite you to the podium to speak, and we will listen to you tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Faulkner, and along with Cindy, we're here to speak tonight on behalf of the board members of SEPTO, several of which can't be with us this evening as they're attending a speaking event hosted by Moira Rader. Our district's commitment to meeting the diverse learning and developmental needs of all students depends on having the right support professionals in place. At present, several critical needs exist within our special education programs that must be addressed to sustain quality services and prevent further strain on staff and students. The first of which is an addition of a speech and language pathologist, SLP, at the elementary level. The role of the speech language pathologist encompasses the full spectrum of communication. SLP supports students in developing expressive and receptive language, social communication, and the pragmatic skills necessary for learning and peer interaction, benefiting not only students with identified needs, but also the broader classroom community. Increased caseloads have stretched our current SLPs thin. An additional elementary SLP would allow for earlier identification, more direct services, and greater collaboration with teachers, supporting both general and special education students. The second item is an expansion of behavioral supports, a full-time BCBA, and additional RBTs. While contracted board-certified behavioral analyst services have provided essential consultation, the increasing complexity and number of student behavioral needs require a consistent, full-time presence within the district. A district-employed BCBA would enhance staff access to timely support, provide ongoing training, and allow for direct observation and coaching, ensuring that behavior plans are implemented with fidelity and consistency across schools. As an example, one of our middle schools currently has access to a BCBA for half a day per week. BCBAs are highly trained and licensed professionals, independently conducting complex processes such as functional behavior assessments, which can require months of data collection and analysis. Often, a behavior intervention plan is the result of this assessment, also requiring the delicate handling of a BCBA. Our district puts significant resources into these assessments and intervention plans, but due to heavy caseloads and staffing turnover, effective long-term management of them is a challenge. A full-time BCBA would work towards rectifying this. Equally important is the need to expand the number of registered behavior technicians, RBTs, working directly with students. RBTs under BCBA supervision deliver individualized behavior interventions that promote communication, independence, and self-regulation. Having more trained RBTs embedded in our schools would significantly strengthen our capacity to support students with intensive behavioral or communication needs in a structured and compassionate way. Our district has long prided itself on reducing outplacements and serving students within our own schools, an approach that preserves community connections, fosters inclusion, and benefits our taxpayers. Strengthening our behavioral support team with a full-time BCBA and additional RBTs will ensure that we can catch up to the outpaced district needs and continue to uphold this value while maintaining high-quality, evidence-based programming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, Cynthia or Cindy Wilner, 10 Smidrich Lane, Guilford. And I am speaking as a SEPTO representative. I am the representative for Melissa Jones Elementary School. A third item that would be helpful for supporting our special education services in the district is providing a stipend for paraprofessionals serving students with more significant needs. Paraprofessionals are the backbone of our special education programs. Those assigned to students with the most intensive needs perform physically and emotionally demanding work each day. Providing a stipend recognizes the specialized skill, patience, and commitment required in these roles. It would also help improve retention in positions that historically experience high turnover that disrupts student learning and undermines program consistency. There must be a way to ensure the students with the most significant needs are receiving support from the most skilled and trained paraprofessionals, and that those staff members are being compensated for the additional challenges associated with the role. Fourth, addressing high turnover risk among special education service providers. Special education roles, including special educators, related service providers, and paraprofessionals, are consistently at high risk of turnover due to demanding caseloads, regulation, and emotional intensity of the work. Competitive compensation, including targeted incentives, is essential to improving retention rates and ensuring the quality of service. Fifth, restoration of a full-time occupational therapist, or OT, at the elementary school level. Occupational therapy plays a foundational role in helping students access and benefit from their education. OTs support the development of fine motor, sensory regulation, and executive functioning skills that are essential for participation in daily classroom routines. These skills are central to ensuring that students can engage with the curriculum and meet the requirements of a free and appropriate public education. Within the last year, our elementary schools lost a full-time OT with years of in-district experience and now rely on a contracted provider. Restoring a full-time in-district occupational therapist would provide the stability and expertise necessary to deliver consistent, high-quality support that cannot be met with short-term contracted services. It would also strengthen the preventative and consultative services, ensuring that student needs are identified and addressed early before they escalate to more intensive or costly interventions. In summary, these needs are not simply about staffing numbers. They are about ensuring our district can uphold its commitment to equitable access, effective intervention, and inclusive education. Strategic investment in these areas will directly improve student outcomes, teacher effectiveness, and district-wide morale. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ayla Davidson, 128 Rockland Road. I am speaking on behalf of myself and my husband, Owen, who is home with our children. I'm here to advocate for an additional full-time speech and language pathologist for Guilford's elementary schools. This is my first meeting speaking, so if I get a little emotional, it's because of my nerves and my deep care for our students and our staff. I have two boys at Melissa Jones School, one in first grade and one in fourth. My first grader receives wonderful services through Guilford Public Schools, including speech, occupational therapy, social skills, and BCBA support. We really are truly grateful to live in this district and for his entire team and the staff who help him access his education every day. Last April, my son was diagnosed with childhood apraxia of speech, short for CAS. It's an oral motor planning disorder where the brain struggles to send accurate messages to the mouth, and so to produce sounds correctly, and this leads to unintelligible and inconsistent speech. Children with CAS require a specialized speech therapy focused on oral motor planning, and best practices for children with CAS involves short, frequent, consistent sessions, ideally 4 to 5 times per week. This simply isn't possible with our current SLP staffing levels. The shortage of speech and language pathologists at the elementary level has meant my son has received less frequent and less individualized speech therapy than he needs to meet his goals. We had a very difficult transition to kindergarten due to his communication and language challenges, which are skills that are essential for adjusting to the classroom, making new friends, and developing the literacy and academic foundations. When SLP caseloads continue to grow across our 4 elementary schools, it strains schedules, limits consistency, and increases travel time. It's not a sustainable long-term arrangement and may lead to higher turnover as SLPs seek positions with more stable assignments. Ultimately, our students, especially those who rely on consistency to make progress, are the ones most affected. Thank you for listening and considering an increase in speech and language pathologist support in our elementary schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Brittany Stallsberg, 170 Chestnut Road. Good evening. I am the mother of 3 children in Guilford, a first grader and kindergartner at Cox, and a preschooler at Lakes. I am also the PTO grade representative for both kindergarten and first grade. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. To me, keeping class sizes small at the elementary level, especially in grades K to 2, is among the highest of priorities. There is no question based on research that smaller class sizes lead to better educational outcomes. Currently, the Cox first grade has 2 classes of 22 and 21 students, which represents a huge increase from the class sizes they had last year. Unsurprisingly, these large class sizes have created a less than ideal learning environment. Last year, when my son had just 13 students in his class, he came home every day excited about what he learned. This year, when we ask him about school, his top of mind answer is always something about who got in trouble today, or how often the teacher had to remind students about the rules and expectations. He no longer talks about what he's learning. His stories are now about classroom management, not his education. Guilford can do better than this. Our class sizes in first grade are above Connecticut state elementary averages, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. Many of us moved here specifically because of the school system's excellent reputation, but our actual experience is falling short. As you create the budget for next year, I ask that you ensure the lower elementary grades, including first and second, have 3 classes instead of 2 to keep class sizes appropriate, manageable, and set the stage for all students to succeed and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Doug Nejam. I live at 19 Old Quarry Road. We moved to Guilford for the school district, and we appreciate the wonderful leadership that you all provide. I'm a parent of a first grader at A.W. Cox, where, as you heard, there's 2 first grade classes with sizes of 21 and 22 students, which is a 50% increase on the class size from kindergarten, and there's no paraprofessional in the classroom. My son Otis has an IEP. He thrived in kindergarten at A.W. Cox with a small class size and a para in the classroom. I am well aware that higher grades are likely to have larger classes, but I'm here to ask you to ensure the necessary staffing for these early grades that are so crucial to children like Otis being able to have good educational outcomes. And so I'm urging you to provide for 3 second grade classes next year at Cox, as well as in first grade and kindergarten. That would allow the class sizes to be closer to our expectations and the recommended numbers from the NEA and the DOE. Smaller class size seems especially critical for children at these younger ages. I also I spoke at a meeting last year about cell phones, and so I thought, given that this is still on the topic, I would at least again express support for a full cell phone ban, which I know is one of the recommendations you're considering. As the experience of other districts teaches us, the most effective approach is to collect phones at the beginning of the school day and keep them inaccessible until dismissal, including during lunch and breaks. I realize the cost of doing this is more significant than not doing anything, or some of the other options on the table, but it seems well worth it for the learning experience of our children. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Carrie Gilhooly for Oakwood Drive. Good evening. I'm a parent of 3 young children who will be in Guilford Public Schools for many years. My oldest is a first grader at A.W. Cox, and my middle daughter is in her 2nd year of pre-K at Guilford Lakes. I'm here tonight with 2 concerns about the 26-27 budget that directly affect our youngest learners. First, class sizes at A.W. Cox, especially in the first grade. Last year, as you heard, kindergarten classes were 13 and 14 students. This year, sections have been reduced and are up to a 50% increase. Additionally, our numbers, 22 and 21 students, are 18% above the district average for first grade, as reported last night. Neighboring districts, such as Madison and Region 17, keep K2 classes at or below 20 students. And in Milford, where I work, the board has made it a clear priority to stay under that number as well. Smaller class sizes make a huge difference for early learning and safety. Even with smaller classes last year, my daughter was physically harmed by a classmate on 4 occasions. These were physical incidences that occurred between February and June. I was not aware of anything. She was not sharing anything prior to that. This is a 5-year-old reporting this. I can only imagine the additional challenges that teachers face this year, managing 22 students and with less time for instruction, more for behavior management. Smaller class sizes in the early years aren't a luxury. They're essential for success and safety. My second concern is the change in play-based specials at Guilford Lakes. Last year, preschoolers worked with certified PE, art, and music teachers. My daughter loved learning games with Coach D and creating art projects with Mrs. Galehouse and singing songs with Mr. Kleiner. I could see the continuity between the preschool and the kindergarten work that was coming home. This year, families learned weeks into the school year that those specials were replaced by a play-based model, often using videos for movement and music. While the teacher facilitating is doing her best, she is not a certified specialist, and it is not fair to expect her to replace that expertise. I value play, but it already happens every day in that classroom. What's missing now is the specialized instruction that builds creativity, coordination, and hands-on skills. It's also very troubling that Calvin Lee Preschool still offers certified specialists, while Lakes does not. That inequity should not exist within one district. In closing, I respectfully ask the board to prioritize 2 things in next year's budget: smaller class sizes for A.W. Cox K2, and certified art, music, and PE specialists for Guilford Lakes Preschool, just as the students receive. These are essential investments in safety, equity, and quality education for Guilford's youngest learners. Thank you for your time and commitment to our children and schools.
Thank you.
you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for your service and your time. What's before you is not going to be an easy task, and I'm well aware of it. I'm here to make a comment and then a budgetary request. The first thing I would like to ask is if we could redo the school calendar. This is very confusing. There's too many color codings, there's too many acronyms. Less is more, in my opinion. My other comment is there are 22 early dismissal days throughout the school year. That is really a hardship on working families. I know it's probably a union issue or something that has to be worked on, but I'd like to put it on your radar because 22 days of early dismissals is really hard on working families. The other thing I wanted to talk about is a budgetary item, and that is not just to Guilford, it's really probably statewide issue with speeders that go through school buses. I have seen it. I've made multiple requests to Guilford PD. They've been more than helpful. They're well aware of it. So my request to the board is consideration of installing external cameras on the stop sign arms of school buses. This is a program that is currently being run in New Haven, Bridgeport, North Haven, Danbury, Shelton, and Trumbull. And the person who speeds or runs the school bus is ticketed with a $250 ticket. That fine is how they pay for the installation of the cameras. I am more than willing to help and get involved and do whatever I can, but I've personally seen, it just shouldn't be on the backs of Guilford's children that people are late to work. It's just not right. Not only that, it's happening in our schoolyards. They're running the school buses because they pick their kid up and they want to beat the buses out. So that's something that I feel very strongly about, and I would hope the board would consider that as a budgetary item. And like I said, I'm more than willing to step up and assist or get involved in any way that I can. Did I say my name?
I was
now?
just gonna say.
Sorry.
No problem.
Veronica Wallace, 386 North River Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Veronica,
Thanks,
thank you.
Alyssa Stevens, 135 Millstone Drive. Good evening. I'm here as the parent of 2 children in district, and as someone who's seen both the incredible things our schools can do and ways that some kids still fall through the cracks. Like so many families, I've watched bright, creative students struggle not because they can't learn, but because they learn differently. Some kids need structured literacy instruction like Orin Gillingham or Wilson to unlock reading, programs that work, but that not every teacher has had access to. Others struggle with behavior, not out of defiance, but because they're overwhelmed, anxious, or still developing the skills to manage big feelings. For those students, the way we respond matters. Earlier this year, I attended a training with Dr. Ross Green, the founder of Collaborative Problem Solving, to learn more about this approach. What he said rang true. Kids do well when they can. And that concerning behavior is simply the way in which some kids communicate that there are expectations that they are having difficulty meeting, likely due to a skills gap or unmet needs. His model focuses on identifying unmet expectations, which he calls unsolved problems, and engaging kids in solving them. Because solved problems don't cause challenging behavior, unsolved problems do. Collaborative problem solving and other evidence-based trauma and neurodivergent informed approaches can turn difficult moments into opportunities for growth instead of frustration. With recent policy changes around restorative practices and school climate, it's even more important that we provide this training district-wide. To make these policies truly effective, we need staff who have the right tools and enough staff to help. This means adding social workers, counselors, and BCBAs in each building who can address these challenges in real time and in meaningful ways. Without the right supports and tools, these policies will remain just words on paper that can't be followed through in practice. We know from comments shared at Board of Ed meetings last year and even as recently as last night that we have students struggling with challenging behaviors who deserve the right support. Additional staff could also ensure all students receive social and emotional learning instruction, which is foundational to our portrait of a graduate competencies and something that used to be provided by social workers, but is no longer possible due to their high caseloads. And for our neurodivergent students, those with ADHD, autism, or other learning differences, understanding is everything. Too often they're told to try harder or asked to learn skills that help them appear more neurotypical instead of being supported for who they are. They're not trying to be difficult, they're trying to be understood. Research shows that by age 10, children with ADHD have heard about 20,000 more negative comments than their peers. 20,000 times they've been corrected, criticized, or misunderstood, often for behaviors that reflect how their brains work, not who they are. Our teachers and staff care deeply, and I know they're not intentionally missing the mark, but without ongoing learning about how neurodivergence presents and more tools in their toolbox, we'll keep falling short. This isn't about blame, it's about giving teachers and staff the support they need to meet every child where they are. Now that the state requires consistent, effective approaches to managing challenging behavior, we need the staff and tools to be able to do so. All students deserve classrooms that are emotionally and physically safe. That's why I'm asking that this year's budget include funding to expand Orton, Gillingham, and Wilson training so more teachers can support struggling readers, provide district-wide training in collaborative problem-solving and other trauma and neurodivergent informed practices to support restorative and inclusive school climates, offer ongoing professional development focused on neurodiversity and inclusion, not just to support neurodivergent students, but to educate everyone around them about acceptance and understanding. Add social workers, counselors, and BCBAs in every school to support students and staff in implementing these practices effectively. These aren't extras, they're essentials. Our teachers want this knowledge, our kids need it, and our community deserves a school system that meets every child where they are and helps them thrive. Thank you for listening and for continuing to make our schools places where all students can feel understood, supported, and proud of who they are.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Freeman, and members of the Guilford Public Schools community. My name is Nate Jacobson, 1470 Long Hill Road, and I am a member of Guilford Activates, the alliance committed to improving vitality, activity, togetherness, and empowerment for students. And an acronym, Activates is a group of roughly 20 students and community members advocating for the Guilford Fitness Center. We stand for a vision of a thriving school community, one where every student, regardless of their athletic ability or background, has access to state-of-the-art fitness center that supports physical wellness, mental health, confidence building, and meaningful community connection. As you prepare for this year's budget season, Guilford Activates respectfully asks you to consider two key priorities in alignment with our mission and the Guilford Public Schools portrait of the graduate. First, with the board allocating $350,000 toward upgrades for the fitness center, there is an even greater need now to ensure dedicated supervision and equitable access. It would be a missed opportunity and a shame to invest so much in new equipment only for the space to remain underutilized due to a lack of supervision. Last year, many advocated for a fitness center coach, a critical position to ensure that all students can safely and fairly access the facility. Currently, only students in certain PE classes or athletes whose coaches volunteer their supervision have access. This creates an unintentional disparity, disproportionately benefiting male athletes, while female athletes and non-athletes face significant barriers to getting into the fitness center. This is fundamentally an issue of equity, safety, and student wellness. A staffed, supervised fitness center opens the door for every student to benefit from physical fitness, not just a select few. Second, we strongly urge the board to prioritize meaningful student involvement in the planning and design of the fitness center upgrade. Students are the primary users of this facility, and their voices must be at the center of decision-making to ensure the upgrades truly meet their needs and aspirations. While community involvement is important, the emphasis should be on creating formal, ongoing processes that engage students directly, alongside PE staff, coaches, and community partners to guide how this investment shapes the future of the fitness center. A fitness center that will likely be effective for the next 30 years, kind of a long-range planner on how I'm thinking. And I realize this significant of an investment is going to be there for a lengthy time. In closing, wellness is foundational to student success, physically, mentally, and emotionally. By investing in supervision and centering student voice in planning, we take two powerful steps toward realizing this vision. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to student wellness and equity.
Thank you.
Hello again, Polly Reader, 280 Sage Hollow Road. I wanted to raise, again, what Dr. Freeman had repeatedly raised last year during the budget process, which is now there are these, I think more than one perhaps, AI programs or whatnot that you can run to gain efficiency in the busing system for the entire district, which is of course a very, very costly part of the budget. So that would be efficiencies in not just money, but in time. And I just don't see why it's not something that we can move ahead with. It seems like it would be a smart move at this point. And I would advocate that that be done while a working group is looking at implementation options to actually fix the biggest problem that our district has, that's been this big white elephant that nobody will talk about for years and years and years, of the high school start time issue. The last time that was addressed was 2017 to 2018, which is like eons ago now, you know, way before the pandemic. People didn't really talk about mental health that much back then. The students had things a lot better back then. Things have only gotten worse and worse. So I really think that, and like we've seen with the cell phone policy issue that is still dragging on, and a lot of that has been pretty clear about what to do for quite a long time. The science and the facts are much more clear with regard to the teens' need for sleep. And we have our kids trying to survive with the chronic lack of sleep. So I think, you know, we could put community representative group, staff group, whatever, to put some resources toward helping the admin and options for the board to look at, and community conversation about what we can implement in terms of a change. Because one is, you know, years and years overdue. More and more districts are doing it in Connecticut. They have sports teams. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not rocket science in some ways. But I also wanted to, though, to say that a lot of the reason for this, just to say again, is, you know, we have our kids, our teens especially, that they have their whole day undermined. So we're talking about 1,000 kids, you know, not talking about a team or a classroom or a grade level, 1,000 kids. You know, what do our suicide attempt stats look like? What do the numbers of kids going into the fantastic counselors we have always available in the high school that we hear, you know, their doors are always open and they're always meeting with the students. I mean, those numbers are going up and up and up, I would guess. And meanwhile, kids who don't even have such problems to that extent on a particular day or month, they're carrying around higher blood pressure, they're carrying around a higher stress load. It's could go on, and obviously their learning is suffering. Greater sports injuries, car accidents, etc.
So, I mean, I really think about, student time, learning outcomes, and 100 of our teachers' time is really, teachers' time is a massive, massive resource for the district. And I feel like it's being squandered in the high school, and particularly at first period. I mean, I cannot tell you now, my oldest kid's a junior, the time that I hear from Kim, thank you, and from other kids about, first period is just like, they're not even awake for a lot of it. So lastly, I wanted to say that I think it does present actually a fantastic opportunity, because clearly the best way to do this and the way other districts have done it is to swap the elementary with the high school. So what do the elementary kids do? I think it would be
Polly,
fantastic.
we're at 4 minutes and we want to give everyone a chance.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to ask you to wrap up.
Can you imagine, rather than, going home and maybe being on
Polly,
an
I
iPad
am going to ask you to wrap up.
or whatnot, that they could actually, we could expand the programs we have at Cox and Leet. It would be very much directed towards portrait of a graduate outcomes.
Thank you, Polly.
It would not be expensive. I just wanted to add, I think you could also
Polly,
make
we
marketable
can take more
para
time.
jobs by putting that together.
Thank you.
With the other roles.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Last call? Okay. Seeing none, we will wrap up. Again, to reiterate, thank you. This starts the budget process. Again, we are all readily available, emails, public meetings, please let us know. To reiterate again, through the budget process, the next two important dates for the public are January 26th and January 27th. That's a Monday and Tuesday evening here at the high school. We look forward to hearing from you. Any other further comments from the board?
No, just reiterating your thanks that people are coming in and letting us know what they're thinking and providing us with that information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? So moved. A second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.